Hey y'all, welcome to the Sew Along. I'm going to create my own version of this $2,100 Loewe jacket. Let's get into it.
Winter's here. You hear me? She ain't joking this year. This video, we're starting with a rough draft. I made this jacket from a pattern I bought. Shout out to Sewing with Etta. Inspired by like a $2,000 Loewe jacket. Ain't nobody got $2,000 to spend on a jacket, not in this economy. So this is a rough draft that I created just to test out the pattern. Figured the arms would be too short and my suspicions were right. So the only adjustment that I'm gonna make to this pattern is extending the arms by like 2 inches. That's the only thing I'm gonna change. You got $2,000 to spend on a jacket? Cause I don't. We got jacket at home, baby. I went fabric shopping with grandma. We got this. I'm gonna use this as a lining. It's so soft. I also got denim. So I prepped my denim, I washed it. I'm about to press it out, lay my pattern out, and let's get into making this jacket. Oh wait, no, I have to alter the pattern first. So let's firstly alter the pattern.
I altered a total of 4 pattern pieces, 2 pieces for the shell and 2 for the lining. I inserted 2 inches in the middle of the pattern and trued up the line so the bottom and the top of the pattern wouldn't be altered. Between altering the pattern and cutting out all of the pattern pieces, that took me about 2.5 hours. I then cut out interfacing for all of the collar pieces to give it more stability, and I also added interfacing to the lining of the pockets. The tutorial for this jacket is very in-depth, and I'll link it in the description below if you'd like to see it or potentially make one of your own. Okay, so this is what the back of the jacket looks like. I just put some stay stitches around the edge just to keep it in place before I stitch in the little patch. But I want to embroider my logo onto the patch first, so I need to wait for the embroidery hoops to get here, so stay tuned. While I waited for the embroidery rings to arrive, I continued with the front of the jacket. I just added in the pleats to the front and put in stay stitches so they would not move. Alrighty folks, it is 8 degrees outside. I'm in my basement. I have some chamomile and lemongrass tea. I also have my embroidery rings that I'm going to try using for the first time, and some scrap fabric because I've never embroidered a day in my life. So the sewing machine that I have has an embroidering feature, so I want to try that out. Shout out to Big Dej. Cheers. Okay, y'all, I did not record any of that. I was doing a lot of touch and go. My first attempt is in the middle. This was my second attempt. It looks a lot better. And then on my third attempt, I got to the bottom, and then I just went reverse to try and make it look thicker. And I absolutely love this embroidery feature. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back around in the other direction just to make it thicker around this part of the S. So everything you see me doing here for the pockets, I actually had to unpick because I did it backwards. The pockets were facing the wrong way, and I did not realize that until I was trying to put the denim piece of the pocket onto the lining piece. So here you see me unpicking everything, but it just be like that sometimes, you know? So once I corrected the pocket off camera, I continued with pinning the denim part of the pocket into the lining and stitched it in. Something that made this already intermediate pattern even more challenging was the lining that I chose to use. So this material is a little stretchy, so using a stretchy fabric with a non-stretchy fabric can make sewing them together a little bit tricky, and you see me doing more unpicking here because the fabrics were just not lining up properly. So a lot of pins were used in the making of this process. Another thing that made this a tricky pattern to follow was these reverse curves. So putting the collar to the back lining was something that it wasn't too bad once you use enough pins and you just take your time, but yeah, reverse curves are a bit of a challenge. So throughout this whole process, you see that I'm using the iron a lot. I was only able to press the denim. The other material did not receive heat well, but pressing as much as possible in my book is not optional. It just makes everything look way more clean, way more professional, and the seams lay a lot better and are easier to manage when you press everything. Another important thing for this project specifically was having the right needle, because there were points where I was stitching upwards of 5 layers of fabric at once. So I used a 16 size needle and I made sure to take my time. So you'll see that I'm cutting into the seam of the collar pieces once I've stitched them together. This helps to relieve the tension that otherwise would come from these curved seams trying to bend. Also, using a tailor's ham to press curved seam is really helpful. Y'all see how I'm just bundled up? My sewing studio is in the basement of my house, so it was just freezing this whole time. Pro tip, if you're gonna make a winter jacket, don't wait until it's already wintertime to make the jacket. So we learned. Once the collar was in and I gave it a press, the last thing to do was to pin, sew, and press the sleeves. I did run into a little bit of an issue with the stretchiness of the lining versus the non-stretchiness of the shell, but nothing a little extra pinning didn't fix. I pressed this out, and then my last step was putting in the zipper. So I pinned the zipper, I basted the zipper, and then I sewed the zipper with my zipper foot. And to close the lining of the jacket, I hand stitch it closed. So I fold the lining in, press it down, and pin it with some clips, then hand stitch it. And it took me probably an hour and a half to hand stitch both sides. Guys, I'm obsessed. This jacket took so long and it was so worth it. I think this denim is a little bit crispier than the denim used at Loewe, because just the nature of how these pleats are pretty stiff. I think this denim is a little thicker, a little stiffer, but I'm okay with that because I wanted a warm yet casual but elevated winter jacket, and I think I achieved that look perfectly with this. So it's denim, so it's more casual, but it has all these cute details that I really love. So I had several firsts with this jacket. First, of the first is the fact that I use embroidery on my machine. I've never used the embroidery feature. I absolutely love how it came out. I embroidered my logo. It looks fire. This is the first piece that I've ever made that has a collar. So that was a fun little adventure. This is also the first time I've done something fully lined. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. This was also the first time that I've used a separating zipper. And this was the first time I've done something this complex. This is by far the most complex piece that I've ever made. I'm always making dresses and skirts and things like that. So making a winter jacket, I'm very proud of myself. This took a long time. I honestly lost count of all the hours, but that gets me into the Loewe versus Smitty brand comparison of the different features of this. Okay, let's cut to the next scene. So the Loewe jacket cost $2,100 before tax. It is a medium weight denim. It has a leather embossed patch with the brand on the back, and it has hand pleating on the back as well. And I believe that the lining that they use is cotton as well. And for my Loewe inspired jacket, with the amount of hours that this took me plus the materials, it comes out to about $400. Once again, I don't know exactly how long this took because I lost track after about the first couple of sessions. I spent $70 on materials. I also have my denim embroidered patch that I talked about already. So this material that I used for the lining, it's so soft, it's so warm, and I'm pretty sure it's 100% polyester just because of how much it costs. But I love I don't know if it's grapes and vines, but it's a jacquard fleece like material that I'm sure is going to keep me nice and warm on these cold New York days. I'm very happy that I altered the sleeve length as well. My long arm girlies get it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, then that's fine. My final thoughts, I expect this to last me for the rest of my life. Like, this is gonna last me for the rest of my life. I love the pleating. I love the little customization that I added to it. Now, cut to the scene of Smitty performing her first gig of the season in her prototype jacket. It was a fun time. Thanks for watching.
Let's feel good.